What's up, golf leads? Welcome back to the Streak Golf Performance Podcast. I'm Alex Keller, and today I want to talk about this whole distance versus accuracy thing at Oakmont for the 2025 US Open. We're taking a step back from the back pain stuff. I feel like I've given you guys a good preview of what's to come later in the week, and I want to talk about the US Open. This course has hosted more US Opens than any other, 10 times and counting, and it's a beast that doesn't just reward long hitters. It's a battlefield where raw power meets precision, and the smartest and longest hitters survive. We're going to unpack the stats, revisit some legends of the US Open at Oakmont, and even steal some workout secrets from the game's biggest bombers. Plus, we've got a fun way for you to join in on the action. Let's tee it up. Oakmont Country Club is no joke. It's got narrow fairways, brutal rough, and greens so fast they're almost unfair. It's almost just not about bombing drives, it's about hitting them right. In this episode, we're tackling the big question. Does distance win at Oakmont, or is it all about accuracy and grit? We'll be digging into the numbers, looking back at past champions, and sizing up who's got the edge in 2025 going into this weekend. And because we're all about fitness here at Streak Performance, we're also going to take a deep dive on how some of the longest hitters train to crush it off the tee. Trust me, you'll want to steal some of the moves that we're going to talk about and figure out how you can hit the ball just as far as they can. Let's start with the data. Rewind to 2016, the last time the US Open was at this absolute brute of a course at Oakmont. Dustin Johnson walked away with the trophy, and he was absolutely crushing it off the tee. He ranked number one, averaging over 300 yards, and this gave him a significant edge. But here's the twist. DJ only hit about half of his fairways, tying for 18th in accuracy. So the real question is, how the hell did he win with only 50% of his drives hitting the fairway? The answer to that is simple. His greens in regulation were 76.4%, the best that week. Distance gave him shorter shots into the greens, and even when he missed fairways, he had wedges in his hands instead of long irons. That meant he could still attack pins and avoid the most penalizing rough around the greens when chipping. The rough around these greens is no joke, and when you can't develop club head speed, then you're not able to cut through it. That's why driving distance off the tee, if you hit it close enough and you have a 60-degree in your hand on this course, you're going to be able to cut through the rough a lot better, get the club to impact without it slowing down, and actually be able to aim for middle of the green and not be penalized by chipping in the rough. When you chip in this rough, it is growing in all different directions. You have to create so much swing speed, and you don't know how it's going to pop out, making it almost impossible to get up and down it. Now, if you miss a fairway at Oakmont, you're not attacking pins. So if you hit the ball far and in the fairway, you have an advantage over everybody else. If you're able to hack it out and you still hit the ball far, you have a huge advantage over the field. Recent US Open data shows that 70% of strokes gained off the tee come from hitting the fairway, not just bombing it. Distance is a weapon, but only if you can aim it the right. Here's a fun fact that kind of says it in the opposite direction. In 2007, when Angel Cabrera won at Oakmont, he wasn't the longest hitter. He was nowhere near DJ's numbers, but he was joint third in greens and regulation. Precision has an effect, not just power. That was his edge. Now, here's something absolutely crazy and a little counterintuitive. Distance can actually boost your accuracy. And I'm serious when I say this. When you hit the ball farther, you're left with shorter clubs into the green. Think a wedge instead of a 7-iron. Shorter clubs are easier to control, plain and simple. And if your swing's solid, you're more likely to hit it in the sweet spot and keep the ball straight. It's like a secret advantage. Go long and the game gets easier, but only if you've got the technique to back it up. Now, with this, I want to take an example of my own game because I don't get a ton of time to play golf anymore. I work out for golf, but I work a day job training people in person, and then I'm building Streak Performance on the outside. So, in the midst of 16-hour days and trying to create all this content and build Streak Performance, I have not been able to play as much golf as I would like to. Now, with this, I still go out and I can shoot low to mid 70s when I go play. And this is how I do it. I have the swing speed to let me hit my driver 350 yards. Every single hole, I barely touch a driver because I play to 150 yards no matter where that is. That could be a 6 iron, a 5 iron, a 4 iron, a 2 iron, and I'm playing to 150 yards because my pitching wedge is my favorite club and I hit it 150 yards. I'm not going to miss the fairway with a 4 iron or a 5 iron, no matter how bad my swing is. And I am not going to miss the green if I aim for the middle with the pitching wedge. Then all that I have to do is hit two putts from there and I can shoot even par. And if I miss the mark on a few holes, then I'll be a couple over. And that's all I'm really going for. Distance is a huge weapon if you can use it to think around the green in a smart way. If you bomb it off the tee and that's all you do, and even if you're not hitting it good, you decide that you're just going to keep hitting your driver, that's not a sign of a good golfer. Golf is a lot more like chess than showing off. And if you can think your way around a golf course, the faster you are, the better you can play because you can take risks completely out. All right, let's talk about legends of the game. Back in 1973, Johnny Miller shot a jaw dropping 63 to win the US Open at Oakmont. He was not the longest, but his irons were like lasers. He hit greens like a sniper. Miller once said that Oakmont separates the men from the boys, and his precision proved it. Fast forward to 2016, Dustin Johnson brought power and poise. He crushed drives, but if you don't remember that wild penalty drama on the final hole where DJs were debating mid-round, DJ was able to keep the most important part of golf together, the 3 inches between his ears. Distance matters, but his ball striking and mental game sealed it. These stories show that Oakmont isn't just a physical test, it's a mental one. Past champs weren't always the longest, they were the smartest, but when they can put both of those together, it's gonna be the absolute best thing that these guys can do to try and win this weekend. All right, so who's poised to dominate Oakmont this year? The 2025 US Open. Let's look at the contenders. First up, my favorite, Bryson DeChambeau, the distance king, the reigning champ. He's averaging 329 yards off the tee. His accuracy is a decent 59%, but his greens and regulation have been struggling at 61.1%. That's not elite. That's not going to do it at Oakmont. Oakmont's tight layout could trip him up, but as the reigning US Open champ, he knows how to get it done and what matters most. Now, with Bryson, I will say that if he can have a wedge in his hand, no matter where he's at off the tee, he said it before, he'll say it again. He will take the shortest route to give him a wedge and then just play the bomb and gouge game. If he's able to play that and go for middles of green and then make some bombs on some long putts, this guy is going to be absolutely insane. But you know how he won't get beat is if he's hitting the fairway this week. If he hits the fairway this week with his distance, having a wedge in his hand, and actually hitting the greens, being able to attack pins, I don't see anybody that has the advantage that Bryson does coming in, being in the top 10 in each of the majors leading into here. But then there's the guy that's the favorite for almost everybody, Scotty Scheffler. He's the world number one. He's long enough to hit the fairways, 300 plus. His strokes gain stats are just the best, and he's built for Oakmont's demands. The guy plays boring golf, but boring golf, if done the right way, is what's going to win it at Oakmont this year if the long hitters aren't accurate off the tee. Rory McIlroy can't be left out of the conversation. He's averaging over 320 yards, but his accuracy has been shaky after the Masters. He just missed the RBC Canadian Open with 13 of 28 fairways hit and then missed the cut. And if he sharpens it up this week, he's a threat. He's conquered tough tracks before, and after getting the Grand Slam off his back, majors are his goal. And then the last guy I'm going to talk about is Ludwig Oberg. He's not the longest, but he's accurate off the tee. He's always in contention over majors, and his putting on fast greens is clutch. He's zero point 0.7 strokes gained per round. With solid drives, I think he's a sleeper pick this week. Now let's get into the stuff that I'm excited to talk about the most. Let's see how these guys that hit the ball the farthest train to bomb it off the tees. We are talking about workouts that build serious distance, and trust me, you can steal some of these moves for your own game. First off, there's Bryson DeChambeau. I think he's the most relatable to most people on this. Yes, he hits the ball the farthest right now, but if you remember back to when he was that guy that was just kind of spouting off at the mouth and he was trying to find the way to most scientifically do it, he was weird because he played the same clubs. He turned himself into a fitness lab experiment, packed on muscle, heavy compound movements like squats, bench press, bent over rows, deadlifts. And that's just not about strength. He did the speed training on top of it. He wasn't doing rotational stuff in the gym. He was working with a real club to get that. And then he was doing some anti-rotational drills with resistance bands to tweak his torque. And his diet was that what a bodybuilder would love. Protein shakes, steaks, the works, all of the calories to feed the beast. He had to fuel it all. Now there's Dustin Johnson. Dustin is somebody that I would take his workouts with a grain of salt. This dude is just an athlete. He doesn't train like a bodybuilder. He trains functional move, cable rotations, resistance band twists. He mimics the swing and he does plyometrics, box jumps, and explosive things. His core is great. He has amazing explosiveness. But if you've known Dustin since he came into the league, this guy has been a freak of nature when it comes to um, athleticism his whole entire life. If you ever seen him dunk two basketballs at the same time, you know that that guy could have played any sport that he wanted to. And he's not fast because of his workouts. He's just fast because he's Dustin Johnson. Do I hate his workouts? Absolutely not. But I think that they mimic something that only a professional golfer should be doing. And it's not going to necessarily, you haven't seen him gain a lot of distance over his career. Then there's Rory. I love his workouts. They're a total balance. Push ups, bench press, pull ups, lighter squats, heavier squats, flexibility moves. He does yoga and Pilates. He keeps him limber, letting him uncoil with maximum efficiency. He does anti rotation work on stability ball that helps him get better torque out of his swing. He's not chasing bulk, he's chasing the perfect motion. But if you've seen him since he came into the league, that man has put on a lot of muscle and built a pretty awesome physique. And it has led to him being able to swing that fast and making it look effortless. I think he's got the most beautiful swing in the game. These guys don't just chase distance, they train for control distance. Think lunges for power, rotational moves for torque when needed, and heavy compound exercises that help you gain that explosiveness and power and anti-rotation that you can go and translate to the golf course. That's the kind of stuff that we pack into our programs in Streak Performance. We do strength to add yards. We do stability to stay on target. It's not about swinging wild. It's about swinging smart and gaining the best competitive edge that you can to take it from where you are now to where you want to be in the future. And that's all about making a transformation, hacking on muscle, hacking on strength. All right. This is where you step up. What's your favorite workout right now for distance? Is it deadlifts? Do you do yoga? Do you do Pilates? Are you training like a bodybuilder? Do you like to do CrossFit? I want you to drop it in the comments below. And heck, tell me what programs you want, and I will build you a specific one and put it in the Streak Performance app by itself. The most liked comment in this video, I will build that out and I will put it in the Streak Performance app so everybody can go in and get it for free until the end of the year. We'll shout out the best tips in our next episode, and I want to help build this golf fitness crew together. The whole point of Streak Performance is to empower golfers to become more fit so they can do it together as a community and make it cool again. And I think that's something that we can do if you guys just start the movement here. After you leave that comment, one more thing. What do you want to hear next? Do you want to hear more on Oakmont? Do you want to deep dive on putting? Do you want to hear the best compound lifts to add distance on your swing and the science behind them? Do you want to know how to lose weight? Do you want to know what? I mean, the sky's the limit. I want to be able to tailor this show exactly what you guys want. And that's the feedback shapes the show. The feedback shapes the app that we're building. If you don't want to let it on here, go ahead and follow us at Streak Performance or Streakperformix on X, and we will make sure to get the content that you guys want and keep being the face of teaching fitness in golf. Right now, a lot of times, all you see in golf fitness is a bunch of workouts where you really don't know if they're going to be effective or not. I want to teach you like the science behind everything, why we build it the way that we do, why it's safer than anything else, and why it's going to get you the most distance. So let's wrap it up. Here's the deal. Distance at Oakmont is a game changer, but it's useless without accuracy and grit. DJ proved it in 2016, Miller in 73. For 2025, my pick, Scotty's got the edge, but if Bryson brings his big guns and a GPS, he might steal it. Did you love this episode? Want to hit it longer and feel better? Grab our newest free ebook, The 3 Steps to Eliminate Back Pain Forever. The link will be in the description. It's loaded with pro level fitness tips to keep you swinging pain free. Plus, you can try the Streak Performance app until 2025 in the link below. The workouts, they're going to add massive yards to your game. And if you hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel, don't make sure you don't miss a thing. Tell us what you want in future episode to cover more fitness, course breakdowns, you name it. We're just getting started, and we want you along for the ride. See you next time.